Good news, everybody! We've got some retro news, and it's about the VIC-20, which has just been announced as a follow-up to 2019's the C64 and 2018's C64 Mini. Now, I heard about this late last night, and I was quite surprised for a number of reasons. Firstly, the computer is coming out in October, and it's only just being announced now, so it's kind of taken us off the hop, because there's less than 4 months to go. Plus, at the time of making this video, there wasn't a single mention on the Retro Games website about it. I understand they are going to be changing that though. Also, there wasn't even a press release sent out about it, so I'm just completely befuddled. However, the equivalent of a press release is on the Facebook page, so we'll go through that. And just before I go through it, I will just say I didn't have a VIC-20 or a C64 back at the time, back in the day. I had a ZX Spectrum. Boo hiss, don't boo hiss me. So my first experience of the C64 was with the Mini and the C64. But playing I would have played on the C64 at a friend's house before previously, but I did also play on a VIC-20 back in the day in 81, 80, probably 82, I think. And was it 82 it came out? I should have looked that up. But I do remember playing on one at a friend's house just back then, just when the games were new and fresh and the cartridges were absolutely huge. But they just felt so fantastic. Just slot them in the back, get the game up and running, press those keys, and you're away. You're absolutely away. Absolutely fantastic time. I really, really wanted one. I didn't have one. Later on actually got a BBC Model B as well as a ZX Spectrum. Yeah, we were posh in my house. And yeah, fantastic days with those machines, but who doesn't need new machines? I mean, later this year we've got obviously the Intellivision Amicos coming out, which I've got pre-ordered, and there's also the PS5 and the next Xbox, the next generation in gaming, etc. One of them does 600 million flip-flops a second, the other one does 598 million flip-flops. Does it really matter? They're all going to be making brilliant games, but there's nothing quite like going back to your roots, back to the start of everything. This is quite very, very close to the start, so we'll go through it. The Wonder computer of the 1980s returns. The full-size version of the 80s home computer, the VIC-20, will be available in October, 23rd of October to be precise. Another timeless classic is being given a new lease of life with the launch of a full-size version of the VIC-20. Developed by Retro Games Ltd and developed by Koch Media, the VIC-20 is a fully licensed reimagining of the 80s best-selling home computer. Following its launch in 1981, the original VIC-20 home computer went on to become the first computer of any kind to sell 1 million units. It even now still holds a special place in the hearts of its former owners. Almost 40 years later, and it's back again. The full-size VIC-20 has a full working keyboard, comes with an updated micro-switch classic joystick, which plugs into one of the 4 USB ports and connects to any modern TV via HDMI, or in my case with the C64s, I plug it into my Elgato HD60 and you can capture footage that way. It features 3 switchable modes: boot straight into the original VIC-20 Basic, C64 Basic, or switch to the Games Carousel and play one of the 64 built-in games in 50Hz or 60Hz with optional CRT filters and screen modes. As well as the classic VIC-20 and C64 basic modes, there'll be 64 pre-installed games, and I'll list them all very shortly. And you can even load and save your own VIC-20 and C64 games via USB flash drive, as well as access multi-disc titles. I know when the other machines first came out, it took a little bit of time just to get that tweaked, so you could get it all working on your system, but presumably they've got all that sorted out now, so it'll just work out of the box on day one. Paul Andrews, Retro Games Managing Director, said, "We are really excited to be working with Koch Media once again to bring you even more of the most loved retro games ever on 2 of the most iconic home computers of all time in this latest incarnation of the C64 range, this time with full working keyboard and classic VIC-20 style. The VIC-20 variant will hit the shops on October 23rd with a suggested retail price of £110 minus a penny and €120 minus a cent. Also included in the box is a 1.5 meter wide USB micro switch classic joystick with added function keys for game-specific modes, a USB charging cable, and a USB AC power adapter." That's something you don't get a lot with the sort of these new machines that come out. They just don't give you a power adapter at all, so that's great that we're getting one. And also an HDMI cable, which is 1.2 meters in length, allowing full compatibility with all modern TVs. Other features include a save game function, selectable 50 or 60 Hz screen refresh, and pixel filter options such as Pixel Perfect, CRT and Scanline Emulation. Also upload your own files, games and firmware revisions via USB flash drive. The VIC-20 games included are Abductor, Andy's Attack, Arcadia, Bewitched, Blitzkrieg, Brainstorm, Catcher Snatcher, Connect 4, Encounter, Frantic, Frog Chase, Gridrunner, Harvester, Headbangers Heaven, what a great name, Hellgate, Laser Zone, Martians, Matrix, Megavolt, Metagalactic Llama's Battle at the Edge of Time, Psychedelia, Snake, StarQuest, Subspace Striker, try saying that after a few pints, Tank Battle, Tracks, Wacky Waiters and Zor. On the C64 there's Alley Cat, Bear Bobber, Boulder Dash, California Games, Chips Challenge, Cyberdyne Warrior, Cybernoid 2, Destroyer, Firelord, Galencia Mini, Gribbly's Day Out, Heartland, Impossible Mission, IO, Idris Alpha, I was going to say Idris Elba then, Iridis Alpha, Jumpman, Mega Apocalypse, Nebulous, Netherworld, Paradroid, Pitstop 2, Planet of Death, Robin of the Wood, Speedball 2, Spin Dizzy, Street Sports Baseball, Street Sports Basketball, Summer Games 2, Supercycle, Sword of Fargol, Temple of Apshire Trilogy, The Ark of Yesod, Uridium, Winter Games, World Games, and Synapse. So yes, that's quite a unit that's coming out. And I've seen some of the comments below, and people are saying, yeah, that's great, but I also want an Amiga. Don't we all? I didn't have an Amiga either. I had an Atari ST. Don't send me hate mail. But as the C64 people have said, this is the next product in the lineup, not the last. So maybe we'll get the Amiga next time. Someone was even holding out for a C64, C16 plus 4. There's two separate machines, wasn't it? A plus 4 and a C16. Or was that one machine? I'm sorry, I've had to sleep since I looked that up. Let's just hope we don't get the Commodore 64 game system, where it was just a Commodore 64, but it had no keyboard. And the game that was supplied with it was Terminator 2. And as soon as you plugged it in, you switched it on, it said press space to begin. And you didn't have a space bar. Yeah. Little bit of a... that'd be a little bit of a cock up on the space bar front. That was something you could not patch out with an update. So, yeah, not quite sure how they got around that. Well, you couldn't get around it, could you? But this is great news, and I'm really looking forward to checking this out. So please like this video and share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the little bell to get all notifications, and cue Genesis.